but we're going to Winnipeg now. For those uninitiated, Joel Eriksson Ek had a hat trick for Minnesota, tying the game with 59 seconds to go in regulation, winning it on a power play in overtime as the Wild stunned the Jets 6-5 Tuesday night. Eriksson Ek scored the equalizer just 15 seconds after an empty netter by the Jets. Mark Scheifele was waved off by an offside call that came from a replay challenge by Minnesota. The Jets remain winless to open the season through 3 games. Jamie Thomas called it on 680 CJOB, Manitoba's information superstation. Jamie, have you ever seen such a wild outcome and furor from fans after the fact, after what went down in Mini last night?
Well, if you're going to go from a wild outcome, you go back to the 2018 playoffs against Nashville when the Jets were down 3-0 after the first period. They came back and won that game. But that's a playoff game. Rod, you've been doing this a long time. 3 games into a season does not make a season. And I understand people getting frustrated. They're up by 2 in the third period on the road. You blow the lead. It looks like you've sealed the deal. You've got the empty net goal. You can breathe a little bit, and then it all gets taken away. So I've never seen a puck bounce around as much as it did last night in favor of Minnesota. Sometimes you have puck luck. It felt like the Minnesota Wild had a lot of puck luck last night, especially on the tying goal. It bounces off Matt Zuccarello's skate, and it goes up in the air, and Eriksson Ek backs it out of the air with some tremendous hand-eye coordination, I might add, too. But the one thing I will take away from that game in St. Paul last night is it was such a good game. The emotions were there. The passion was there. The Central Division rivalry was renewed there. We've heard that rivalry renewed term overused at World Juniors every year, but this was a true moment of that. And it had been 600 plus days since the Jets had played Minnesota. And it really pointed out to me how bad the hockey was in the Scotia North Division last year, because there was nothing like that. Even though the Jets played Edmonton 3 times in a row, it never got to that in the regular season. And they played, of course, in the playoffs. It never got to that type of anger and furiousness and dislike of one another. Dave Lowry talked to us in the intermission after the second one. He was still fired up as a coach watching it and noting the fact these are just 2 teams that don't like each other. So it was a great game. The result is frustrating too. I understand with a lot of people out there. But, there's a lot of things being sorted out here that is going to iron itself out here eventually for the Winnipeg Jets.
Well, I didn't hear all of the comments from Paul Maurice after the game.
Right.
I'm interested what his analysis was, and also Connor Hellebuck. What is it, 14 goals he's allowed through 3 games? That's just not him. He's going to be better, but what's Pomo saying about this start?
I think it's the consistent theme through it is he likes a lot of things. He likes the fact that they're giving up less shots off the rush. Their rush defense last year was tough, right? It was tough to watch. Now they've made the improvements in the back end. They're not giving up those shots. But what is going on and what Minnesota did a great job of is just throwing pucks in Hellebuck's skates and going after it, right? So it was taking away his eyes. Anaheim did that on opening night last Wednesday. San Jose was, played very well with their power play, took away the Jets' power play in the game on Saturday. So there's just little things that need to be ironed out. You have new penalty killers. You lose Nate Thompson, Trevor Lewis. And Derek Forbert, who wasn't really appreciated as much as he should have been, was very good at killing plays along the wall while killing penalties for the Jets a year ago. So you have some new penalty killers that you're trying to sort out right now. So these are the bumps that come early in the season as you try and figure things out. Again, there's a lot of expectation for this hockey club. They were looking like a Stanley Cup contender on paper when things all started this year. But this is still 79 more games to go. And you got a lot of things and a lot of expectations here that they're going to work out right now. Your top line has had 3 different configurations already because Scheifele didn't play in game 1. Blake Wheeler wasn't available yesterday in St. Paul. So all these little things get ironed out over a long NHL season of 82 games as we adapt to that now from 56 a year ago.
Jamie, you're a long time hockey guy, hockey broadcaster. I'm just interested in your opinion overall on that offside video replay. Not necessarily what happened last night, but why is this in the record book? It's skate in the crease. I get Dallas Stars fan 1999. I get the year. I get that. That's the crease. This has nothing to do with the play. So how do you feel about the rule itself?
I think it has its purposes, but it's slowing down the game. Like that was a great hockey game last night, but the delay to figure out to get it right was way too long. And that's the problem. Like, we're all aware of the fact that people's attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. That doesn't speed up the game. Now, of course, I call games for the Winnipeg Jets. It's a very frustrating call that doesn't go in their favor, but it completely slows things down. Baseball's having issues still. You're having still 3.5 hour long baseball games in the playoffs, even though they're high drama, but still a little bit too long for people's taste. So to answer your question, I'm not a big fan of the rule. I don't think it happens that often where you have to go to replay on the offside, and maybe now you're going to it too much. So you're just trying to bail yourself in any opportunity. You get a goal scored against you the way the Minnesota Wild do. You're like, why not go for this? What's it going to really hurt? Even though you get a delay of game penalty called if it doesn't go in your favor, still you're losing that game anyways if it doesn't go in your favor. So I'm not a big fan of it, but it's in the game right now. I don't see it changing anytime soon. Not really on the top of the list for Gary Bettman and company, and trying to figure out what's going to help the game. So we're going to just have to live with it the way it is.
I'm interested to know your take on where you feel the Jets are playing now versus how good they can be, because you look at the Oilers, Duncan Keith, Zach Hyman, Colton Sevier. Shoot, there's like a quarter of their team is new, and they're off to a 3-0 start. Yet the Jets have introduced a lot of new pieces to their dressing room, and I'm just wondering how you feel those, like Nate Schmidt, Brendan Dillon, those guys, how they're assimilating and how much better this team can be.
I think they're assimilating well. And one of Nate Schmidt's gifts is to retrieve the puck well. His first pass is tremendous. Same with Brendan Dillon. And with Brendan Dillon, Rod, is he adds a physical element that the Jets didn't really have for the last 2 years since the departure of Tyler Myers, Dustin Byfuglien, Ben Sherratt, Jacob Trouba. There's a physical presence back out there. And the other team has to be aware of where Brendan Dillon is, because he'll lay you out with an open eyes check at any moment. And he had a big scrap last night with Marcus Foligno in the second period that got the fans all going in. So you're all trying to get used to your new defense pairings. And I speak with Josh Morrissey, he's trying to get used to Nate Schmidt. Neil Pionk's getting used to Brendan Dillon. And then that stuff, again, is going to work itself out. Your power play is going to be a lot better as the season wears along. Your penalty kill is going to get better. And Connor Hellebuck, right now, is the easiest thing to say, is going to steal some games for you. He's not going to be as busy as he was the last couple of years, but he's still one of the best goalies in the National Hockey League. That stuff is going to come to the top here, and that's why the Jets will start winning games as we go along.
Lastly, what's the schedule ahead for the Jets this week, JT?
Well, they're back at home, man, and there's a whole new projection system at Canada Life Center. So they play tomorrow night against the Anaheim Ducks, which an incredible part of scheduling in the National Hockey League. The Jets are done with the Ducks by the end of this month. They play them tomorrow, and then they start a road trip back in California next week. So they'll be done with the Anaheim Ducks by the end of October. And then Saturday, the Nashville Predators are in town, another Central Division rivalry game at Canada Life Center. So it's only 2 games at home this week, and then next week they go back out on the road for 3. So it's really, 6 of your first 8 games on the road, you get these whole things, the team gets closer together, and then you're at home for a 7-game homestand to start the beginning of November.
Never a dull moment. JT, thanks for the time, man. Keep it up. We're enjoying it.
Thanks, buddy. Good to see you in my hometown.
Absolutely. Jamie Thomas, Winnipeg Jets radio color commentator, as we broadcast from his hometown, Calgary, Alberta. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of the Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.